You know, the year 2026 feels weirdly contradictory, doesn't it? On one hand, you look at the headlines and it's all tension and uncertainty. But on the other hand, innovation is just exploding, moving faster than ever. So what's really going on? Let's try to piece it all together. So, to get a feel for the mood, let's start at the big annual summit in Davos. This quote from The Guardian just nails it. It perfectly captures this feeling that's spreading among world leaders, a sense that the old rulebook is being torn up and cooperation is losing out to confrontation. That's a pretty gloomy picture, right? But you have to wonder, is that the whole story? Because as we're about to see, there's a really powerful counter-narrative bubbling up just beneath all this political turmoil. All right, first, let's unpack this idea of a fraying global order. What does that actually mean in the real world? It's a huge shift in how countries and businesses deal with each other. A lot of experts are calling this the post-globalization era. And you can see how it all connects, right? When you get fractured alliances and big powers squaring off, the next thing you know, you've got tariff shocks and your supply chains are a mess. It's a chain reaction, and it makes a system that once felt really stable suddenly feel incredibly fragile. And listen, this isn't just some abstract theory. One leader at Davos put it about as bluntly as you can. They said the old rules-based international order has, and I quote, definitively collapsed. Wow. The era of predictable cooperation really seems to be over. Okay, so this high-level political drama, it doesn't just stay in the headlines. It trickles down and creates some very real and often very expensive problems for businesses and for our security. A recent PwC report just connects the dots perfectly. Get this, 60% of executives are pumping more money into cybersecurity, and they're doing it specifically because of all this geopolitical instability. They see a direct line from tensions between countries to the threat of a major cyber attack. But here's the crazy part. Even with all that extra spending, their confidence is at rock bottom. Only a tiny slice, just 6%, feel like they're actually ready for the threats they're facing. That is a huge and frankly a kind of scary gap between risk and readiness. And this number helps explain why that confidence gap exists. It turns out most companies are still just playing defense. Only about a quarter of them are investing in proactive stuff, trying to find problems before they become a disaster. Everyone else? They're basically just waiting to get punched in the face. It's a much more dangerous way to operate. So it all paints this picture of a deeply connected global machine, our economy, that's suddenly at risk because the political framework holding it all together is starting to crack. The very systems that move our stuff and our data around the world are becoming vulnerable. Okay, but just as this story of decay and risk seems to be the only thing happening, the script completely flips. There is another massive force at play, and it's pushing in the exact opposite direction. Yeah, while the politicians and security experts are for good reason worried about the world fraying, the economists and the tech folks are seeing something totally different, an absolutely unprecedented boom. Just take a look at this. S&P Global says there's an AI-related investment boom that is so powerful, it's literally moving the macro needle. All this spending is just skyrocketing. And it's actually hiding a lot of the weakness in the rest of the economy. It's giving global growth a massive shot in the arm. Economists have a name for this, AI tailwinds. Think of it like a huge gust of wind pushing the entire global economy forward. It's this massive wave of investment in everything from data centers to software. And it's this wave that's keeping the whole system afloat, despite all those geopolitical headwinds. And this incredible momentum isn't just about money or AI. The pace of pure scientific discovery across all kinds of fields is just breathtaking right now. Let's just look at a few things that happened in one single month, January 2026. We saw a major step forward in fusion energy, a huge breakthrough in quantum communication. We saw scientists finally observe a quantum effect that was predicted over 80 years ago, which might help us find dark matter, a revolutionary new AI sensor, and, just for fun, scientists documented a cow using a multi-purpose tool for the first time. This isn't a slowdown, it is a flurry of non-stop progress. So this brings us right to the heart of it. How do we make sense of these two completely different stories? How are they both happening at the same time, in the very same world? On one side, you've got this fracturing world, weakened institutions, cyber threats, trade disputes, confrontation. But on the other, you have an accelerating world, AI-driven growth, quantum computing progress, fusion breakthroughs, new scientific frontiers. These aren't two different planets. They are two powerful forces shaping our one shared reality. We're living through this moment where the systems that organize us are getting less stable. At the exact same time, the tools we have to build the future are becoming exponentially more powerful. So it leaves us with the defining question of our time. As our political orders fray and our technology accelerates, which of those two forces will ultimately define our future?